Hello everyone, welcome to Arth IAS. I am Amit Kumar. Friends, in this lecture, we will discuss a very important topic that has been in news for last few months, and the topic is you can see the topic, right? That is Delimitation Commission, right? In this video, we will discuss about the Delimitation Commission and its certain aspects, right? And before knowing about the Delimitation Commission, right, you should know about the process of delimitation, or what does it mean, what is the meaning of delimitation, why it is necessary or when it is conducted, right? And why a delimitation commission is set up, what is the purpose, right? All these things we will discuss in this video, right? So let's start one by one. First we will see what is the current issue, right? So these are the subtopics we are going to discuss in the video, right? First we will discuss the current issue. What is the current issue about delimitation, right? What is delimitation? I told you that before knowing about this commission, you should know about the meaning of delimitation. Then we will discuss constitutional provisions, right? What are the constitutional provisions that allow delimitation, right? Then we will discuss the delimitation commission, what is it, right? Its composition, its appointment, its functions, right? And lastly we will also see the way forward, right? So let's start by one. First we will see what is the current issue, right? Why it is in news, why it is in news for past few months, right? It is, or it has been in news, and very high chance, there is very high chance that in prelims and mains or even in interview, right, the question may be asked from this topic, right? That's why I decided to make a lecture on this topic, right? So first see the issue. What is the issue, right? So first, what happened that you do know that in India, after every 10 years, means a decade, right, the census is conducted, right? And after census, or the final report of census comes, the seats of parliament as well as state legislatures are readjusted. Readjusted means, as you do knowing that population generally for even after independence, right, it has grown drastic, right, very high, right? And almost currently India is a country of around 1 point, you can say 4 billion people, right? Almost, right? Let the exact number or exact data of census come, right? So first, what is the current issue? The delimitation of constituencies for Lok Sabha and legislative assemblies is to be carried out on the basis of first census, right, after 2026, right? And the census of 2021, right, was originally postponed, right? You do know that whole world, right, was suffering from COVID 2 years, right? Almost 2 years, 2020 and 2021. So, and due to COVID, right, COVID-19, the census of 2021, okay, that had to be conducted, right, was postponed, right? And subsequently, due to delays on the part of the central government, obviously the reason was COVID-19 pandemic, right? That's why the census of 2021 was postponed, right? Now what happened that there, or a debate, right, has arisen, right, between north and southern states, right? What has happened that the southern states, right, have done very well, right, by controlling their population, but especially some states in northern part of India, right, their population has increased drastically, right? And there is a debate among both parts of the country that they may lose. They are thinking, okay, what is the reality, we will see in this video, okay, but they are considering that they will lose, right, their representation in the Indian parliament, right? That is, or you can say, a kind of fear is in their mind, means leaders of southern states, right? There we have checked our population, reduced or controlled their population, not reduced, you can say they have controlled their population, right? But northern states or some states in northern part of India, right, their population has been increased drastically, right? And you do knowing that the seats of Lok Sabha, right, is what allotted on the basis of population, right? So this is the main issue, right? These states which have effectively implemented population control policies fear that reallocation based on current population figures, right, could reduce their parliamentary representation. I told you, right? And in contrast to this, northern states, right, with high population growth may gain additional seats. Obviously, right? As I told you that the seats in Lok Sabha is allotted on the basis of population, right? When southern states have checked their population, right, and northern states have increased their population, obviously there will be a mismatch, right, or allocation of seats in the Lok Sabha, right? That is the fear among the leaders of southern state, right? So, and why they are fearing, or why there is a fear in their mind? Because they are thinking that there is, or there may be a potential shift of power, right, about, or shift of power, or you can say fairness, with southern political leaders but arguing that they should not be penalized for successful governance. Obviously, okay, but that is not the reality. We will see all these things, right? Though they have a kind of fear in their mind, but that is not the reality. We will see in this video, right? The issue touches on cultural and linguistic differences also. Again, but again they are fearing about the language Hindi, right? That is another issue. Three language formula we will discuss. I'll make another video on three language, right, policy of India, right? We will discuss on that video. So this is the main issue, right? Next, so what is delimitation, right? So delimitation, you can see simply, I would like to tell you that what happens, that I told you after census, when generally number of population increases, seats are readjusted, right, in the Indian Parliament or state legislatures, both, right? Because people are or representatives are represented on the number of population, right? Roughly, for example, roughly 1 representative represents 10 lakh people, roughly, right? So delimitation simply means, right, simply means the process of redrawing, right? It is the process of redrawing the boundaries of parliamentary and state assembly constituencies, right? You do knowing that there is no, or you do not get confused, right, with the geographical boundary and parliamentary or assembly constituencies. It has nothing to do with geographical boundary, right? It is created on the basis of population, right? So do not correlate it with geographical boundary, right? Even one district, right, even one district can have 2 or 3 or even 4 constituency, right, state assemblies constituency, or even a big district can have 2 or 3 what parliamentary constituencies, right, or even 2 or 3 small districts, okay, can be merged into one parliamentary constituencies, right? This can happen. This has nothing to do with geographical area, right? So simply it means what? Redrawing the boundaries of parliamentary and state assembly constituencies. Simply it, and in another words you can say increasing or decreasing the number of seats in the parliament or state assemblies. That is the simple meaning, right? To reflect changes what in population, obviously. And generally what happens that after independence hardly 1 or 2 decade was exception, okay, and another reason was there, no need to discuss here, okay. After every decade, okay, the population has been increased, except 1 or 2 exceptions are there, right? So population is the reason for delimitation, right? Again, it ensures fair representation and maintains the principle of one person one vote, right? Simple. So if the population has increased, you or the government has to increase the number of seats in either Lok Sabha or state assemblies, right? Again, it also includes determining the seats to be reserved for SC and ST communities. Also, not only the seats of parliament or state assemblies, but also the seats to be reserved for SC and ST. You would be knowing that there are reserved certain number of reserved seats in Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, or even state assemblies for SC and ST community. This has to be increased also, right? Again, what is the aim? What is the aim of delimitation? right? The aim is to ensure roughly equal representation. I told you equal representation, right? For example, take example X, right? Its population is, just example, 10 crore, right? 10 or 10 crore is very big, you can say. For example, state X, right? Any state has what earlier 1 crore population. Now it has, and it has what 10 MP seats, 10 MPs, right? So roughly you can say that 1 MP for 10 lakh population, right? But now what happened that after one decade or next census, now it has become 1.2 crore, right? 1.2 crore, right? So it requires almost 12 seats or not, because what almost 10 lakh, right? 10 lakh people were represented by an MP. So now when the population is 1.2 crore, then it will require 12 seats. So 2 seats, right? 2 seats has to be increased. This is the meaning of delimitation. Okay, vice versa can happen. Okay, for example, the population has decreased, the state has controlled its population, right? So vice versa can also take place, but hardly it can happen, hardly, right? Or for a few decades in India, it is hardly it can be seen, right? Now what is delimitation, right? Already I told you. Now constitutional provisions. What are the constitutional provisions, right? So what happens that article 82, right, and 170 of Indian Constitution talks about delimitation, right? That the number of seats in Lok Sabha and state assemblies are to be adjusted after every census. That is the simple meaning, right? So where there is constitutional provision for delimitation, there are, you should remember, two important articles, article 82 and article 170. Both provides what, that the number of seats in Lok Sabha, right, Lok Sabha and state assemblies or state legislative assemblies, right, as well as its division into territorial constituencies shall be readjusted after each census, right? After each census means after every 10 years, the seats in the Lok Sabha and state legislative assemblies, or in simple terms state assemblies, are to be adjusted, right? Again, this delimitation process is performed by Delimitation Commission, right? That is set up under an act of parliament. So what is Delimitation Commission? It is a what, executive body, constitutional body, legislative body, or a statutory body. It is, always remember it is what, a statutory or legislative body. Why? Because it is set up under an act of parliament, right? Not a constitutional or executive body, right? Again, now certain other facts you should know, right? That 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act 1976, right? You would be knowing that this amendment is also called as mini constitution, right? Why it is called mini constitution? You can answer in the comment box. Why 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act 1976 is called as mini constitution? Answer in the comment box, right? So it froze Lok Sabha seats allocation and constituencies division at 1971 level till 2001. So it actually, 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act 1976 froze the number of seats, right, till 2000, right, till 2000. And which level? 1971 level, means census of, as per the census of 1971, right? It has been remained fixed. For 84th Constitutional Amendment Act 2001, again it freeze on readjustment was, means the same which was froze, right, in 2000, it was extended till 2026, means the same provision, right, the froze Lok Sabha seats, right, was extended till 2026, means almost for 25 years it was extended, right? No seats were increased in the either, right, Lok Sabha or whatever, right? Again, 87th Constitutional Amendment Act 2003, it allowed delimitation based on 2001 census, right, without changing the number of seats or constituencies, right? Lastly, 31st Constitutional Amendment Act 1973, it says what? States with population, right? This is, all these amendments are very important, right? Even for your prelims as well as when you will write answer, right, in means, this you should include these amendments, very important. 42nd, 84th, 87th and 31st. So 31st Constitutional Amendment Act 1973, it says if any state, right, which has population under 6 million, 6 million 60 lakh, right? So if any state has population below than 60 lakhs or 6 million, then they were excluded from population based delimitation exercise. Means here population based delimitation exercise will not be conducted, right? These states are exempted, right? If these states have population below than 60 lakhs or 6 million, right? So this was all about the constitutional provision of delimitation. Now we will move towards the next. So here, listen, this is very reliable data from reliable source. So you can see that what will happen, right, if delimitation takes place, right? For example, you can see currently here, right? So seats at present and seats projected means if if delimitation takes place, then what the number of seats will increase or decrease in certain states. For example, currently state UP has 80 seats, but if delimitation takes place, because its population has increased, so it will go on up to 91, right? Means plus 11 seats, it will gain 11 seats, right? Again, certain states, for example MP, right, currently 29 seats, but it will gain 4 more seats and it will become 33 seats, right? Or it will have 33 seats in the Lok Sabha, right? If delimitation takes place, right? Tamil Nadu 39, right? And as it has checked population, right, so its number of seats in the Lok Sabha will decrease by 8. So they have a kind of fear in their mind, right? That's why the southern states are concerned, right? Andhra Pradesh or Telangana, right? Combinedly, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana have been combined, right? 42 seats, but it will become or go down to 34, and there will be loss of 8 seats, right? Kerala again 20 seats, but if delimitation takes place, it will also lose 8 seats. So that's why these, you can see, the southern states are concerned. Karnataka same, right? Also it will lose what, 2 seats. So that's why these states are concerned, right? Other states, right? So but listen, these are just projected data, not fixed, right? Not confirmed by the government. These are just estimation. Again I am telling you, these are not fixed, just estimation, right? But southern states and northern states, you can see, right? Now delimitation, about delimitation commission. What is delimitation commission? So it is a high powered body, right? High powered body, and it is set up as I told you a few minutes ago, that it is set up to readjust the constituencies of parliament or even state legislature, right? So it is a high powered body, right? And again I told you that it is a legislative or statutory body set up under an act of parliament, not a constitutional, neither or not, right, an executive body. It is a statutory or legislative body, right? So it is a high powered body whose orders have the force of law and cannot be called into question before any court. This is very important, right? Even such fact can be asked in your claims, that whether the order, right, of delimitation can be called into the judiciary or not, whether judicial review can take on the order of delimitation commission or not. Your answer should be no, right? Means its order cannot be, right, called into question before any court. It is very high powered body, right? And again, its orders are presented to the Lok Sabha and state assemblies but cannot be modified again. So you can see how powerful it is, right? Again, it has power of civil court. Obviously, what happens that generally a legislative body, right, which is set up by an act of parliament, then it has generally power of civil court, right? It is common. Again, it has been set up till date 4 times. How many times? 4 times. 1952, 1963, 73, and lastly 2002. Right? 4 times. Even same fact can be asked in your claims. Right? So this was all about Delimitation Commission. Now, who appoints? Right? Though it is set up under an act of parliament, but who appoints the Delimitation Commission? It is the President of India. Right? Set up by the President of India and works in collaboration with Election Commission of India. By in collaboration with, or it function with Election Commission, because you do know that it is the supreme body which conducts election in India, right? Whether it is right, which types of elections, right, are conducted by Election Commission of India, you can comment in the comment box, right? Or which are the elections conducted by the Election Commission of India, you can comment in the comment box, right? Simple, you know, the general election, second, third, fourth, you should answer in the comment box, right? Again, appointment, right? I told you, appointed by President of India and works in collaboration with Election Commission of India. Composition, right? Who can be its member or chairperson, right? So first, a retired judge of Supreme Court, right, can be its chairperson. Second, Chief Election Commissioner is what? Ex officio member. Ex officio member means what? Anyone who is the Chief Election Commissioner shall be the member of Delimitation Commission, because this commission has to work in collaboration with Election Commission of India, right? And lastly, respective state election commissioners, right? At state level there are state election commission, right? So state election commissioners are also member of Delimitation Commission, right? Now, chairperson, obviously I told you, no need to, okay, just simply no, right? Chairperson of Delimitation Commission, serving or retired judge of Supreme Court, I told you, he or she ensures the decisions are what? Neutral. Neutral means free from any kind of political biases, right? He should be, or he or she should be unbiased, right? And legal procedures are adhered to during the delimitation of electoral constituencies in India, right? Simple. Chief Election Commissioner, obviously he is a member, and I told you ex officio member, right? Ex officio means what? By virtue of his office, right? For example, Vice President is ex officio chairman of Rajya Sabha, right? So again, he is required, right? Means Election Commissioner, Chief Election Commissioner is required to give his professional input on the issues of elections, right? Obviously, constituencies are adjusted for the purpose of election, right? So that's why Election Commission, Chief Election Commissioner has been included in the Delimitation Commission. Simple. And even at state level, state election commissioners, right? Obviously, I told you. Now, legal background and mandate, right? The Delimitation Commission established through what? Delimitation Act, right? And what? Empowered by the Constitution of India. So established through Delimitation Act means what? Automatically it becomes what? Statutory body. Statutory body, right? Because it is set up under Delimitation Act, right? Until date it has been set up how many times? 4 times already I told you. It is governed by a statute passed by Parliament, and its mandate is enforceable by law, right? And that upholds democracy and provision of representation. Simple. Lastly, it is an independent authority, obviously, right? And the composition of Delimitation Commission, right, guarantees impartiality and autonomy, ensuring political influence does not compromise the fairness of constituency demarcations, right? Simple. Now move towards the next, right? Function, right? I told you that what is the function of Delimitation Commission? To redraw the boundary of constituencies, whether it is Lok Sabha or it is state legislative assembly, right? And what is the basis? Basis is population. Based on population, redraws constituency boundaries based on population. That's why it is conducted after every census, right? Again, also reserved seats of SC and STs are also readjusted, right? When overall population is increasing, obviously the number of SC and ST population will also increase or not, right? So their seats or their reserved seats has to be increased, right? Again, it ensures what? Fair representation and equal weightage to vote, right? Simple. Now what is the way forward, right? Way forward means what? There are, I told you that certain states in southern part of India, they are concerned, right, that they will lose representation, right? Their seats, right, will decrease or may decrease, right? They are concerned, right? So what is the way forward? So what happens that you can answer that, you can take example of USA, that since 1913, right? If you have to write answer in means, then as a way forward you can write that since 1913 the seats in USA, right, has not increased. Even more than one century have been passed. You can say, you can see that 1930, since 1913, right, the seats have not been increased in USA. So India can also extend this. For example, in 2000 it was extended, right, for 25 years, 26 years, right? This can be extended for upcoming 25 years. This could be a best way forward to avoid conflict between the southern state and central government, or southern state and northern states. This could be a best or one of the best way forward, right? So here certain way forwards are there. Balanced representation model, right? Consider population along with factors like what? Economic contribution, literacy rate, governance performance, to ensure fairness and avoid what? Penalizing states that have successfully implemented population control measures, right? That is the concern of southern states, right? They are considering that they are being penalized, or they will be penalized for their good governance, better population policy, right? So this could be avoided, and other factors should be considered. For example, economic factors, literacy factors, governance factors, all these factors should be considered. Again, second, strengthening federalism, right? Strengthening federalism. Right. So right. So here, how federalism can be strengthened? Conduct extensive consultation with all stakeholders. All stakeholders means all state governments, right, including state governments, political parties and civil societies. Then a good or best way forward can be concluded, right? Again, ensure that no region feels politically or culturally marginalized, right? If certain states have done well, right, better governance, better literacy, better education, right, better economic policies, better population policy, they should be rewarded, right? And again, include all, means the union government should include all stakeholders, state government, political parties. Okay, political parties means those parties even are not in power, right? Those parties should also be included. And also civil societies, you do know, NGOs, right? There are certain NGOs in India, they are performing very well, right? They must be included, right? Lastly, institutional reforms. Which kind of institutional reforms? For example, enhance the independence and transparency of Delimitation Commission. Obviously, these are called institutional reforms. Same point can be written in your governance topic, right? Use technology, right? Technology like what? Latest technology, AI, right, and other advanced tools, data analytics for more scientific approach, right? Right. So next, parliamentary reforms. Which kind of parliamentary reforms? For example, increase Rajya Sabha's role in balancing representation, since it represents seats, states rather than population, right? So here, an alternative solution can be that the Rajya Sabha's role, right, by amending the constitution, Rajya Sabha's role can be increased, right? And why? Because Rajya Sabha represents the state and Lok Sabha represents the people of India, right? Again, I am telling you, Rajya Sabha represents the state of India and Lok Sabha represents what? People of India, right? Next, legal and constitutional reforms. Which kind of? For example, review the freeze on delimitation beyond 2026. I told you that this freeze can be extended for even upcoming 25 years, right? This could be one of the best solution to avoid conflict between northern and southern states and southern states and the central government, right? Again, public awareness and consensus building, right? Conduct awareness campaigns to educate people on the importance of delimitation, encourage informed debates instead of politicizing the issue. This should be avoided. Do not politicize this issue, right? Our political leaders should understand this, that they should not politicize this issue, right? Because we all are Indians, right? And we have to live happily in our country and respect our constitutional values, right? Simple. So lastly, conclusion. What is conclusion? A data driven, consultative and transparent approach can ensure that delimitation, right, strengthens democracy. Obviously, delimitation is a positive concept, positive step. What happens that I told you that it takes place after every census, and after every census generally population increases, and to represent the increased population there needs certain number of increased representatives, right? So it is a positive step, but it should not be politicized, it should not be misused, right? And it should uphold the democratic values, constitutional values. Again, federalism rather than becoming a source of conflict. Avoid conflict in any situation, avoid the conflict. Okay, build a consensus, right? So this was all about delimitation and delimitation commission, right? Right. So in this video we have seen what is the current issue about delimitation, then we knew about delimitation, what is delimitation, then we saw the constitutional provisions, then we saw what is delimitation commission, its composition, function, appointment, and lastly what we have seen, what is the way forward, what is the solution, right? Till then, thank you. We will meet in another lecture. Keep watching, keep learning. Thank you.